is yours.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Burn It Down NASCAR podcast, post Phoenix edition. Going to talk about it a little bit, what there is to talk about, and then we'll discuss Atlanta. So, William Byron goes back to back,
Willie B.
2 in a row. Willie B. Ryan Blaney, strong performance. Tyler Reddick, third. Kyle Larson was fourth, and he was the car to beat all weekend long. That late caution got him. Harvick in fifth. I think that's, 10 straight years now he's finished in the top 10 at Phoenix in every race?
Yeah, the longest running.
Christopher Bell, a strong showing in sixth. Chase Briscoe in seventh. Kyle Busch, who just didn't quite seem to have the car. Wasn't complaining a lot, but he just couldn't get it to the front. Alex Bowman in 10th, and Josh Berry in the number 9 car filling in for Chase Elliott gets a top 10.
This shows how good that organization car is.
It is. Take the louvers. Hell, they could take the wheels in, boys. It'd still run top 10.
Yeah.
We'll get into this one a little bit later, but the main notables that I see was Daniel Suarez down in 22nd and Hamlin and Chastain in the 23 and 24th. Keselowski mid-pack in 18th. Truex in 17th. Bubba finally had a Bubba day in 14th. And the only car that was not running at the end of the race was BJ McLeod in the 78. I think he had a fuel pump give out.
Something
It
like
was
that.
early. It was early on. But anywho, that covers that. Did you want to do the standings, driver standings, or?
Yeah, since that's something we didn't cover on our post-race extravaganza.
Yeah, well, it's because we can't.
yeah, it's not available. Alex Bowman, for the first time in his career, is points leader. Then Kevin Harvick, the only real Ford pack besides Joey Logano, I would say, but he's only 12th. Then you got Rossi Boss.
Blaney is 8. Blaney's 8.
Yeah. I got Rossi Boss at 3, which that's another story for later with him and Hamlin. William Byron is, which he must have had a really bad first 2 races. William Byron 4th with 2 wins. Kyle Larson 5th, which should have won like we talked about. Christopher Bell 6th. Hamlin 7th. Blaney 8th. Busch 9th. Truex 10th. Suarez 11th. Logano 12th. Keselowski 13th. Buescher 14th. Stenhouse 15th. And Wallace 16th, which is above his average. So gold star to him. Tyler Reddick is finally starting to come up, which he was so upset about his 3rd place finish. I'm like, you're just lucky you're not finishing last right now. He's 20th.
Well, he's got a car. He's driving a car that made the chase last year, so he's under some pressure, and I kind of like seeing him do well.
I do, but it just don't finish 3rd and bitch about it, especially when you haven't finished anything all. My case.
I hear you.
Let's see other notables. Ty Gibbs 23rd. Ryan Preece he had a good finishing place. I think he finished 11th, but he's 27th in the points. Chase Elliott. Do we know if he's getting a waiver yet? I haven't heard anything on that.
The Louvre gate kind of took all that conversation away. I don't know. I haven't heard official whether he's going to get a waiver or not. I think it's gonna. If you remember when
Kyle Busch, it took a while.
Kyle Busch wrecked at Daytona and broke both his legs, they did not announce that they were going to give him that waiver until he was coming back.
Well, it was like the first of its kind type thing, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was more or less like, what do we do? So he'll be back.
Yeah, they made up that rule on the fly. So I think they're kind of hanging back on this to see how
Yeah.
Chase Mims and they've got
They said 6
a
weeks.
scenario. Yeah, they've got a scenario where they've got a window in my opinion to if he can get back in the car and say the window time frame that Kyle Busch did, then they can say, okay, there's precedent for this. Now, if it's a longer time frame,
Yeah.
it could be something different, and they may give him. And again, I don't remember the conditions of Kyle's. He had to finish in like the top 30 in
Top
points
30 and have a win.
and have at least a win.
Yeah.
So, Chase is 29th right now, and it looks like he's going to miss at least 4 more races.
And I think he'll be fine. Honestly, if he does well the rest of the year, I think he'll be fine. Depending what the waiver does.
Yeah. But I think they've got a scenario where if he comes back in an approximate time frame like Kyle Busch did, they can say, okay, we've got precedent for this. This is what we're going to do. And make this. I guarantee you NASCAR world will throw a shit fit if they give him a better deal than they gave Kyle Busch.
It's the same deal. The same thing.
I think they're going to require him to finish in the top 30 and have at least a win.
And I guarantee you they're going to put the best of stuff under him to get a win, and he'll be fine, my opinion.
I believe that best of stuff is already there.
If
Josh Berry can go out and get a top 10, only second race in the car at a short track like Phoenix, that there's nothing better on the track. In fact, Bowman was first. Wait a minute.
He finished 10th. Bowman finished 10th, I believe.
Josh Berry finished 10th. Bowman was 9th.
Okay, yeah. All Hendrick's cars finished top 10.
Yeah, all 4 of them were in the top 10.
Was a substitute driver that's never been in that car besides 1 week. Come on.
Yeah. So as far as them working extra hard to put better equipment to him, no way. It's already there. I don't know how you get any better.
No.
Unless you're Jimmy Johnson and you steal a whole pit crew. But anyway.
Hey now,
I'm sorry, it happened.
Yeah.
I'm not lying.
No.
All right, the Cup Series playoff standings after Phoenix. William Byron is in first place with 144 points. Kyle Busch is in second with 122. How is Ricky? Because he's got a win. Ricky Stenhouse is in third with 104. Oh, this must. Wait, this makes no.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it makes no sense. I got this straight off of J-Ski. I quit looking at.
I already talked about the standings, right? What are you writing the readout? What are you trying to read out?
Never mind. I stand stupid on that one because Bowman.
Stenhouse is probably 4th in the playoffs because he has a win. That's probably what you're reading.
Exactly.
You're reading the top 4, yeah, because he has a win.
Yeah, Byron has 2. Yeah. Kyle has 1. Stenhouse has 1.
So they're in the that's how they're doing it.
Bowman is there.
Yeah, Bowman.
Points in 4th.
Yeah.
Then it goes with Harvick, Chastain, Larson, Bell, Hamlin, Blaney, Jr., Suarez, Logano, Keselowski, Buescher, and Wallace.
Yeah, how they're doing it is playoffs first and then by point. I read by straight point.
Yeah, regardless you read the driver's standings.
Regardless of wins, yeah.
Yeah, this is the who's in the playoff as of right now. So
yeah,
I was right on that. Got confused, but anyway, that's that. You kicked my ass again in fantasy league, but I'll attribute that one to Denny Hamlin, little son of a.
If he would have just not touched it, I would have been. I probably would have been. I don't want to be cocky or nothing, but it was almost 275, 280 points. I probably would have been top 10 in the nation if he wouldn't have did what he did.
I had 129 and was styling it over 200 till what he did, because I had Suarez, Jones, and Bell, so I was pretty happy.
Yeah, he knocked
on
me
my
out
throwaway
like
league,
50 points.
Yeah, I believe it. My throwaway league, I had a 148. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go to that league. I'm gonna swap it out.
My
I'm doing
throwaway
much-
league did better actually. Let me look. If it wasn't for Hamlin, his BS. Hold on, I'm loading it. My league, my main league. Come on. My main league did 229, but it was 275 before the last caution before Hamlin did his thing. And I didn't check before the caution, but my throwaway league is 245 for that race when it
Nice.
finished. And that was, who'd I
Okay.
have? I had Byron, Larson, Reddick, Harvick, Blaney, and... No, I didn't. That's sorry. Where's my stuff? I had Larson, Busch, Reddick, Keselowski, and Byron. Not including the picks, but those are the drivers.
In my throwaway league, I had Bowman, Suarez, Truex, Ty Gibbs, and Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, so it did better, but it wouldn't have if Hamlin, which he might, like, we can segue into that right now. Hamlin might get in some shit for what he did because he admitted he did it on purpose.
On his podcast, he
yeah.
says it was intentional. You
Yep.
idiot!
Yeah,
You idiot!
he might get reprimanded, fined. I don't think any points taken away, but he's looking at some
I don't
type
know.
of reprimand.
I think after all the crap that he did last year,
Yeah.
and it wasn't in Atlanta. Was it Darlington where he kept holding Chastain
No,
up?
it was that Louisville racetrack.
Nashville.
Louisville, somewhere. Is that new track they went to this year? I want to say it's Louisville,
Okay.
but I don't know the exact name of it.
But you know, after they didn't fine him for any of that, which he should have been parked during that race for his actions on track.
It
'cause he
was
put a lot of other.
Worldwide Technology Raceway, I believe, is when he did that.
Okay, I think that's in Nashville, correct?
Madison, Illinois.
Illinois.
I think it's on
Okay.
the border.
Missouri and
Yeah.
all right, basically St. Louis area.
Yeah.
All right, but he should have been parked at that race. But instead, they let him go. They let him vent. They let him do all that stuff, and they never fined him.
I
Figured
understand.
it was
I
over.
understand. We've talked about it before. I understand one time showing your displeasure, but doing it for what 50 laps and still letting him do it, not black flagging him, not making him park. Yes, I understand you're pissed. I understand, but what you were doing. I'm sorry. If I was Chastain, I would have spun your ass. One time
Well,
I got the picture. Second time you're done. I would have made it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But my point about this whole thing is why I think there will be points. He will lose points, is because they're gonna sit the boy down and say, "Look, we have a long memory. We remember all the crap you did last year, and we left you alone."
Well, there might
as
have
a
been
senior member-
been a closed door meeting too, saying, "Hey, any more
the point
happens,
is,
we're gonna."
There was no penalty.
Yeah,
There was
exactly.
no sanction at all. They allowed him to do what he did to drive home that point to Ross Chastain. I promise you, Ross got the message.
Yep.
He cleaned it up after that.
Yeah.
And then to go and do what he did Sunday, and then turn. And in fact, even Chastain said that wasn't an accident or a mistake at the racetrack. Then he turns around, and goes on his podcast, and all badass like says, "Yeah, it was intentional." Dude,
Yeah, you're.
if I'm NASCAR, I'm like, you know what? That's it. We're
Yeah.
going to stop this, and we're going to stop it right now. And I think to do that, they're going to get his attention. And if I have to hazard a guess, for them to actually come out and say that they are now looking at that because he admitted it was intentional, if he'd had just kept his damn mouth shut,
Yep.
this would never have been talked about again.
No.
He could sit there and say, crying Ross Chastain, can't take it, dish it out, can't take it.
Yeah.
All that. But that idiot went out and nationally broadcast that, yeah, that was me. I did it. I meant to. Now NASCAR's got to do something. Because that's
Here's the thing. They got it.
It's like Bubba. It's like Bubba and Kyle last
Yeah,
year. Yeah,
it is. I don't think they'll park him. Somebody did mention that because he on Twitter. I know you're not on it because someone talked about it and someone commented and said this is kind of like the Bubba situation, and he goes, "No, it's not." So, are they going to? Because if you did it intentionally, but he didn't wreck him like Kyle because he almost. You know I was pissed because you saw me in person after that Kyle Larson.
The only difference I would extrapolate between the two is Bubba got out of the car and tried to kill the kid.
Well, he kind of tried to kill him anyways on the track when he swiped.
Yeah, but then he's jumping him and punching him.
Yeah,
and everything
afterwards.
Else.
Yeah,
yeah. But my point is, and this is just my thinking, they let him slide last year. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Now they're going to get his attention. Now, I don't know whether it's going to be a double secret fine and all that, but I do think that they are going to take some points from him and put an end to this. NASCAR has one of the good things about NASCAR, I should say, is they do tend to lean towards the boys have added attitude. All right, you guys figure it out on the track and we'll stay out of it as much as possible. But when you go out and intentionally try to wreck each other and then brag about it, now they got to do something. Now, I don't know what they're going to do. I want them to take 100 points from him. I really do. Fine him 100,000. Don't give him an L1 or 2 or any of that thing. Just take 100 points. Fine him 100 grand and get, like you said, get him in the hauler and say, boy, this is your first and your last warning. That's the end of it. Next time you're done.
Yeah.
And just let him know. You're not only a driver for one of the most prestigious owners in this sport, you're also a team owner with one of the most prestigious athletes in the world. You can't be doing this.
Yeah.
So that was just pure stupidity on his part. He got away with it. Walked away from the track. Nothing was said. And then he goes and runs his damn. Come on.
The thing is,
remember I've told you stories before of locals that I know that have ran into Denny Hamlin. And they all say in person he's one of the most arrogant, cocky, condescending people they have ever run into. Just very holier than thou.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that. I wasn't there. I've never actually met the man. I've seen him in person, but I've never met him. But I've heard story after story after story about how he's treated his wife and people around him. So, again, I don't know that. But he showed it in spades on his podcast how arrogant he is.
Yeah.
So
my only my only thinking is NASCAR needs to be smart, in quotations, about it. Is what they do now will reflect how they do it in the future. Because if they give him 100 points, let's say, which I don't think they're going to do, they got to do that to everybody if I intentionally wrecked him. So.
Well, that's easy. Just if you do it, don't say anything.
I know, but it's one of those, they got to look towards the future because we'll see how. I don't think they're going to do many points. I think it's going to be more of a fine, like a $50,000 fine.
It might be. But if I was NASCAR, I would just
put him in the wallet. Put him in the wallet. And then he runs his mouth about Hendricks, saying, "Oh, I think they're fucked." That's essentially what he said. He's, "I think they're screwed." He says, "If they took him for a reason, and I think they're screwed. They're done." He's not done, but they're screwed. He goes, "Well, we got fined for having a piece of tape that made on our nose that made our wrap thicker." I'm like, "No, you idiot! You covered holes with that piece of tape on your nose, which created more downforce." And that's how he was defending it with his. I'm like, yeah, you had tape, but you were covering holes.
They were messing with the arrow for sure. I heard Larry Mack on Sirius XM the other day, and he made me think, because I thought, man, it's a manufactured one source part. And all these teams have been told, you do not modify, do not touch in any way, shape, or form these one-source manufactured parts. Larry he painted a scenario. He says, I don't know if this is what happened, but he said the possibility to me is pretty cool or pretty strong. He said those hood louvers are one of the hardest parts of all the vendor parts that they have to outsource to get to install. He said it is extremely difficult to get those louvers in there. Now he says, I'm not saying that they may have tried to shave it down a little bit. He says, I don't know what happened. But what his theory is, what he thinks happened, is that, again, those parts are so hard to get in there that they may have bent them or modified something to get them in there easier without destroying the actual louver part.
Here's an insight.
And then,
go ahead.
And there was what, Cody Ware? Was it Cody Ware? His louver got taken?
Colleague, somebody from Colleague.
Oh, Justin Haley, I think.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just Hendricks. There was somebody else. And Max said that's kind of what makes him think that they may have made some modification, and NASCAR wants to understand what they did and why they did it. And then he said, think about RCR and or not RCR, RFK.
Yeah.
And
Fender.
Penske. No. At Daytona last year, where they shaved that pin so they didn't have any problem getting the wheels on and off. And
oh yeah.
Because it was having, now NASCAR confiscated all that.
Nothing
If there was
happened.
no fines, there was no penalties. They understood why the teams were doing it, and now they can all do it. So this could have been his theory.
This is more like an R&D thing, not a.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not, and let's face it, they took all the damn louvers, and the cars were all four still in the top 10.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Like I texted you, it didn't matter. It's still fast cars.
They're still fast, but he's liking it to the RFK and Penske situation at Daytona last year, where it's just something that NASCAR said, hey, what did you do here? Why did you do it? Let us take a look at it. And again, he thinks it might be something on the R&D and that NASCAR is looking at to try and help. He says, I'm not convinced that there's going to be fines and penalties and points taken away on this. And he said, the other thing that makes him think this is that it was, I think, Josh Haley. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but it was another car.
Justin Haley.
RCR supported. They were RCR supported.
Yeah, RCR.
So it's not just Hendricks.
Yeah.
And it may have only been a car or two that they didn't like.
Yeah.
But they took all 14 cars, louvers.
Yeah, we got they got new ones, and they performed still. Now, an insight that I got from Denny again, which is because he talked about it. He goes, as an owner, I know there's hundreds of manufacturers for these parts. So
not this one.
It's a supplied part. It's what he's saying for these, and they're all at different locations. And when you get them, they don't fit right. And apparently, if it doesn't fit right, you're supposed to notify NASCAR of the modifications to shim it or make it fit, and they give the okay or not. That's what he was saying. And if they found that I wouldn't say modified, but made it fit, and they didn't like the way they made it fit, maybe that's why. I don't know, but he was saying just because it's right. Let's say you try to build a car from 100 different people that never. Okay, I'm building a hood and a scoop to go in that hood, but I just got a model for it. I don't know if it's gonna fit, so when I get it, I gotta adjust or modify that part to make it fit. So maybe that's what they did, and it was different than what NASCAR has approved or knew about. Maybe it's a different way to modify it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure with the way Hendricks is doing the Garage 56 thing, they might know a better way to make it fit. I don't know, but I don't think they're gonna get in trouble, but you never know. It's only Tuesday. We'll find out hopefully tomorrow or Thursday.
Well, and I'm with you on this one too. I really don't think, I mean, there's going to be a statement after they figure out exactly what happened. And hey, if Hendricks, if they did something wrong, then they should be fined and penalized.
Yeah.
But Larry Mack really made me think. You know, he's like, the point he was trying to drive home was that particular part on that car is the hardest part to install properly of any other part on that car.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. They had a hell of a time getting the door foam
Yeah.
in there, right, or whatever. But he says that's the hardest part for them to get in there. So he thinks that there might be something in that realm of possibilities, that it was, like you said, shimmed, modified to get it in that hole, because it's, you know, it's something that literally just lifts out, and they have to put it in there, and I don't know how they keep
Yeah.
it. You know. But anyway, I'm not expecting anything massive out of that. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it next week.
Yeah.
But I just don't. And another reason why I say that is, again, back to the calling car RCR supported. So this wasn't a team issue or anybody trying to. It looks like it was an issue that may be across the board. And who knows how many times it's happened. It's just something that somebody noticed and said, hey, let me look at that a little closer, and found something or whatever. But it's officially called Louvergate.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I just looked for whatever, but one of the lines says Denny Hamlin predicts a catastrophic blow for Hendrick Motorsports amid the fallout.
Yeah.
He's hoping for that because it gives him a chance to be in the top 10.
I know. I'm just not very respecting of Denny Hamlin these days. So that's
Yeah,
all
I just tried to see if there was an update, and there's nothing. They're probably doing all kinds of wind tunnel stuff.
Oh, I'm sure they are too.
R&D center.
So, man, let's go on to some other news. What do you got?
Honestly,
Anything?
not much. No.
I got a
Jimmy Johnson announced he's going for the Coca-Cola 600 now on top of the Chicago.
And Coda.
Oh, he's doing Coda too?
He's doing Coda in 2 weeks, and Club Wyndham is going to sponsor him.
Yeah, I haven't really seen much, heard much.
Before we leave Phoenix, just your overall, what'd you think about it?
Mediocre. I don't know if I understand what they did with the downforce plate to put the the car in the drivers, but I just don't feel like it's creating much racing, or I don't know if the drivers want to mix it up that much to, I don't know
I noticed
how to make it racier.
Yeah, my big thing was if you got out front, you were very, very hard to pass.
One thing I did notice is Chevys were very good in the first half of the runs. Fords were very good in the second half of the runs. That's why you saw Harvick coming up quick. That's why you saw Logano and Blaney, all of them doing late chargers, because their cars over the long run was way better.
I agree. The long run, they had Chevys fell off faster in the long run than what the Fords and Toyotas did. I thought, it wasn't a horrible race.
No.
But like I said, my big takeaway was, man, anybody out front is going to be hard to pass. There was a good bit of passing from 10th on back. But they could catch each other pretty good, but they just couldn't get around each other. I'm sure it has a lot to do with that new package they did. I want to check something. Can you still see me if I do this? Or am I gone?
I see you.
Okay. Talk. I want to check something else out.
Yeah, you can bring up. You can still surf the web on.
Okay, go ahead. Racing info. Wanna see
Yeah,
some-
honestly, the major news is the Chastain Hamlin thing. There's Hendricks, Kluver stuff. There's not much news out right now. Looking up now,
All right, we got some fun things then. We can do. Ross Chastain spent a day at Martinsville. He helped them remove and replace the wall that he tore up.
yeah, he did that. I think he did that.
was
I think he
pretty
did that
cool.
last week. Yeah.
I think that was pretty cool.
I don't know if that's going like the NASCAR Hall of Fame or where that's going, but that's going somewhere to put on display. Sure.
Well, his car is going in. I guess
track
Justin
houses.
Marks is making a
Yeah,
they're
spot
making
for it.
a museum, and that car's going in there as is.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool. But and he had watermelons he was handing out to everybody. He was having a good old time. It was announced that Josh Berry will race all ovals while Chase is gone, and Jordan Taylor will be in the car at Coda. So
Yep. We got Atlanta
I
this
think
week, which
Josh-
is technically a super speedway. So
hey, Atlanta has been known to. I mean, that's where Harvick got his.
yeah, but
first
that's
win?
the old Atlanta. So
Well, that's true.
I expect Josh Berry to do well because it's not a hard racetrack. It's pretty much a super speedway. So expect Bubba to be up there contending. Hate to say that, but this is his style of track.
Yeah, he.
If he doesn't try to wreck somebody or himself, he'll be up there.
That's always the rub with him is if he sees the checkered flag, he might, whatever. He's another one that irritates me to no end. So we got that.
Finally done with the West Coast swing. That's a blessing.
I can't. It is. Just Jensen Button is racing for Wickware at Coda, and he's an F1 champ. He's going to race at Coda, Chicago, and Indy for Rick Ware. And Kiki Riekelman is going to drive for Trackhouse in the number 91 at Coda.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting. I remember the old days when they used to go out, even not necessarily Earnhardt, but Jimmy Spencer and some of those guys, they used to go out and get what we called road course ringers. And then for many years, you didn't see all, you saw some guys come in that, that would be their only races would be Sonoma and Watkins Glen. But now they're starting to get these guys come, and that went away for a long time. Now they're doing it again, where they're bringing in these guys that are road course specialists, for one or two offs.
Well, nowadays it's a lot of these regular series drivers are road course ringers in themselves, because they have to be.
Well, I think Jeff Gordon probably was the one that was like, no, one of the first, I should say. I said, no, I'm going to do this. And he got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But, William Byron, he's going to do 3 races for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the 51.
Truck?
Truck.
Ooh, that's actually lethal. I didn't know that.
Yep. I don't remember what races. I didn't write them down. We did that. We did. I'm sure you're looking that up right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't. To look.
Another thing I'm kind of not excited, but happy to see Rockingham Dragway is officially finished and open for business, and they are gonna run some drag races there this year. I don't know if it's going to be NHRA, but that tells me that they're serious about getting this track up and running like North Wilkesboro. And I've been seeing a lot more pictures of that. It's coming along.
Hendricks will sponsor the car or the truck. Return April 8th. Truck race at Bristol. Dirt. And the Ricky Hendrick scheme will be on the 51 for the races of Darlington Raceway and May 20. All three races.
That's cool.
All three races of Byron Sidger will mark his first start to the truck.
Well, I think it's cool that I am really glad to see Kyle Busch back in the Chevy camp.
He's doing so much more. Don't get me wrong, he helped Toyota grow what they did, but it just feels like he's, I guess, his hands in more pots already.
Yeah. Well, he's a respected team owner. He's got championships.
Yeah.
He's a veteran. I think he's awesome. I've always, one of the things I used to say all the time, and I stick to it, I'm getting better with his attitude because he has calmed down a little bit as he's aged, and I think a lot of that is having children and...
it is his son, yeah, I believe.
And his son, Keelan, or not Keelan,
Braxton.
That's Braxton, yeah. Keelan is Harvick's son, and I guess he's pretty darn good, too. But... I've always said that man has got more talent in his little finger than half the field has got in their whole body. He could drive a big wheel, play school toy, and compete. But I'm just happy to see, and he looks a lot happier. I think Childress just told him, "All right, boy, you be yourself, and
I'll go get the sponsors."
Yeah, I'll get the sponsors. You get in trouble, you're still being yourself.
Yeah,
and you're gonna be.
And he's bringing new sponsors already. Two new sponsors this year, for that car that they didn't even talk about. So it is. I think it's gonna bring more. I think it's a good combo with them, honestly. So it's Richard Childress and Kyle.
Epic. I'll never forget when they announced and Richard gave him his watch and said, "Here's your sign-on bonus." That was awesome. One little thing to wrap up, but we didn't do from Phoenix, is I picked Harvick for the win. You picked Logano. We weren't too bad. 5th for Harvick, 11th for Logano. Dark horse, I picked Eric Jones, and he was 21st. You picked Austin Dillon. He was 16th.
Yeah, so he was up top 20.
Yep. So we split on that one. Like I said, until we hear if there's going to be penalties on Hendrick organization and Denny Hamlin, and like I said, we talked about what I think is going to happen, but there's, like I said, not a whole lot of other news. I got this one. NASCAR continued its slide in viewership. Its average, they lost over 500,000 viewers this year compared to last year. And I don't want to hear about because the Players Championship golf tournament was on TV. Bull. And it was pretty good. I was going back and forth between it, but they are averaging close to 300,000 less average per race this year already. So
I did notice Phoenix actually was pretty full in the stands.
Yeah, it was not like Vegas wasn't very full. Fontana. I don't care what they say. That thing wasn't full.
They'll be sold out whenever they get that track to the quarter mile.
Oh, when they get that quarter, half mile, whatever they're going to put in there, that I would almost get the plane tickets to go see that one.
Yeah, that'll be a good racetrack.
So, all right. On to Atlanta. I am looking forward to this. Back on the East Coast, let's face it, Atlanta is a super speedway now. It really
it is. Yeah. Yep.
I believe is the actual fastest track as far as straightaway speeds.
Probably.
And we had a couple of really good races there last year. That was the one Corey LaJoy was fighting for the lead.
Yeah, and Chase Elliott smacked him against the wall.
It took him out. Who you picking for the win on that one? Well, hold on. Let me do this first. Your top 10 average finish of active drivers at Atlanta over the last 10 years. Martin Truex with a 6 point. Now, this is average finish. This isn't total races. This isn't wins. This is average race finish. Martin Truex is a 6.2. Kevin Harvick is a 7.7. Keselowski is a 9.9. Kurt Busch doesn't matter. Kyle Busch is 10.4. Elliott is 11.3. Blaney is 14.3 or 12.1, excuse me. Logano is 13 even. Alex Bowman in 8 races. Ooh, this might be a good one to kick him out of your lineup. He's had 8 races. Average finish of 14.9. 3 top 10s. Let me see. Has he got any DNFs? It doesn't say. I'm kind of surprised at that. Kyle Larson is another one that doesn't like Atlanta. 15.3 in 9 races with only 3 top 10s. Now, Eric Jones, average of 15.8. Some notables, Ross Chastain in 13 with 6 races, average finish of 16.7. 2 top 10s and 2 top 10s. I don't know how he's gotten 6 races in there. Who was he racing for beyond Trackhouse? Let me see if Christopher Bell, 5 races, only 1 top. William Byron, 7
William Byron
races.
I think I'm trying to figure out who won the 2 races last year. I think it was Chase Elliott and then William Byron, but I don't.
Well, William Byron does have a win there.
I think he did win last year. I'm trying to find previous race winners, but apparently nobody knows. Yeah, he did win last year. I'm trying to figure out which race it was. He won this race last year, March 19th. He was number 1, then Ross, then Kurt Busch, or as LaJoy, Elliott. Then Atlanta 2, Chase Elliott won, then Ross, Cindric, the Jones, Blaney. So this might be your race to put in some dark horses like Eric Jones, Suarez. Haley finished 7th last year. Cole Custer finished 9th, but he's not there now. But Harrison Burton finished 10th type stuff.
Gotcha.
Well, Bubba Wallace 14th. That Atlanta race, he might not even get it. Bubba Wallace 13th and 14th. Because I'm more interested in the last 2 races because this is the same. It's a different configuration. Justin Haley likes this track. He finished 11th in the first race. He finished 7th in the second race. So Truex was 8th in the first race. He crashed a second. Byron, he won the first one, but he crashed apparently in the second race, finished 30th. Keselowski was up there. Yeah, so it's If anything, I would do your research in the last 2 races and then make your picks. But like, I would honestly have maybe 1 or 2 dark horses, put one of them in the garage and where it goes, because this is one of those races where you can put.
You mean the last 2 years, correct, or just the last 2 races?
Last 2 races. This last year was the first year of this new Atlanta configuration.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Ross is really good. Cindric. I would definitely put some guys you don't normally pick, since we only have 10 per driver in the fantasy.
Well, that dark horse league, I might just. I've been saving in my good league, but I haven't put.
I'm gonna wait for qualifying.
I've used every race so far. I have not duplicated a driver. Every race lineup that I start with is the 10-10. I've got 10 out of 10 uses, and I was gonna wait until after CODA till I started really utilizing some things, but I don't know. I better get it in gear right now.
Yeah,
because that's getting pretty bad. So anyway, who are you taking for the win?
William Byron. He's gonna go for the 3-peat. I'm gonna do it.
Wow.
He's on a hot streak. Good.
I'm going with Truex. And your dark horse, 25th or worse.
Where is he even at? He's 24. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna go to Harrison Burton.
Okay. I hope he wakes up for you.
Yeah.
He's Wood Brothers boys are gonna be looking for a new driver if he don't get it together.
Hey, Josh Berry would probably fit right well in there, but he's going forward though, so I don't know.
Josh Berry?
If he switched, he would go to Ford. Right now, he's driving Chevy for Junior.
Hendricks isn't gonna. Yeah, Hendricks isn't letting that boy go anywhere. I promise you that.
I mean, what else are they gonna do with him? All their Hendrick drivers got a contract extension, so Josh Berry ain't gonna sit around down there very long. If he gets an opportunity like Noah Gragson to come up to the Cup, he's gonna take it. That's how I feel. Wouldn't you? More money?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, but I think Papa Hendrick will do everything, and Jeff Gordon for that matter, will do anything and everything in their power to keep him. I mean, there's still these rumors out there that Teresa and Dale Jr. are not Teresa.
His sister Kelly
and Dale are looking around to buy a team.
Yeah.
And I've heard Kelly on Sirius XM a couple times. She says, "Yeah, it's in the cards, but we got to have the right opportunity."
Yeah.
Like, and she used a scenario of Justin Marks with Trackhouse Racing. She says, "You talk about being in the right place at the right time and buying
Chip Ganassi,
Chip Ganassi out." She says that deal was done before anybody knew that.
Yeah.
Chip was thinking about doing.
Well, Justin Marks is a go-getter, and he probably approached Chip Ganassi with the deal, and he's like, "I'm not trying to sell, but offer's too good," type thing. So maybe that's what they got to do. Go to somebody and say, "Hey, are you willing to sell?" If you're, really want to, talk about it. And I think RCR might, but he also might want to hand it down to his kids. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, there's a lot of them that. I mean, let's look. Hendrick is clearly.
Well, what if Junior merges with Trackhouse and then adds it to a 4-car team?
Could happen, something like that.
And you're not technically buying out, but you're just joining forces. And would they rebrand Trackhouse to JRM? Because JRM's a huge. So I don't know how that would go, but maybe that's an opportunity or something that might happen. Expand it with Junior's power and their Hendricks.
Yeah, there's not a lot of big teams that are going to be available because,
No.
very honestly, Hendrick is already in the process of handing over the
Yeah,
reins to Jeff Gordon.
Yep, Gordon and Canals.
Roush has pretty much handed over the reins to
Keselowski.
Yep.
RCR
Childress,
is he's coming
you got
soon.
the Dillon boys, not the Dillon,
yeah, Richard Childress.
Yeah, the Dillon boys and their dad all involved in that.
Joe Gibbs and his sons.
Yeah, well, he's
losing them soon.
Yes, because I don't think he's got too.
That's not. It's just truth. He's lost 2. I think he has 1 left, if that.
I'm not sure.
Or maybe the grandkids. I don't know how old they are, but he can't stick around forever.
No. So. All right, kiddo. I don't have much of anything else.
You didn't pick your dark horse.
I did, Eric Jones.
You didn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I did.
Oh, Eric Jones. Okay,
Eric
that's actually a good pick. He finished 4th in the Atlanta or the fall race. Where did he finish in this? Oh, 25th. Down a lap. So you maybe.
Okay. I'm having a brain fart here. What's that web page that we're doing the quick hit on? Just Racing?
For what?
That we're doing after the show. After the race, I mean.
NASCAR Nation?
No.
I don't know.
It's a different one. It's a YouTube channel. Hang on.
Oh. I can't bring it up. I know what you're talking about.
I can't. I don't know why I'm going blank right now. I'm gonna find it real quick though.
If I try by NASCAR, it wouldn't. If I mean not NASCAR. Computer wouldn't handle it.
Where'd it go?
I don't know if I could swap to it and try.
I should have been ready for this. I know why I can't. Never mind. Duh. Get in the right email account, you idiot. Boy, here we go. Dead air again. This is awesome.
No, I got music playing in the background.
So, as soon as I get there, just remind everybody that the podcast goes up on any platform you want to think about.
Any audio platform there is, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon. I prefer watching YouTube podcasts so you can see the videos and see the reactions, blah, blah, blah. But if you're on the go, pretty much any audio platform there is, it's there.
That's a fact. It's there somewhere. We also put it up on NASCAR-Nation.com, on Facebook, not only our Burn It Down podcast page, but also NASCAR only. And we just started this week. Excuse me. This week. Let me see. We're doing a quick 10-15 minute hit post race on YouTube. And as soon as it comes up, I'll tell you all about it. This is so embarrassing. I'm going to write it down so I don't have to search it again. But it is, we did one, switch, the Racing Way. Good Lord. On YouTube, again, it's a live podcast that we're doing. It's on the fly, instant results, analysis, anything that happened. Of course, we can't do standings because they're not official. But we just get together for a quick 10-minute deal and tell you what happened real quick and what we think about it and move on. The Racing Way is what it's called, and that's on YouTube.
Yep.
All right. I don't have anything else. We've done everything. Look forward to Atlanta. It's going to be cold. Tell you that. It's going to be in the 50s this weekend here.
Yeah, winter's sticking around a lot longer than it normally does.
February was warmer than March has been so far.
Yep.
So, all right, everybody. Unless you got something to add, I'm going to tell them goodbye. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Check out our fantasy league. It's Burn It Down NASCAR podcast league on NASCAR.com under Fantasy Live. Join us. Get in there. Have fun with us. Try and get bragging rights. Won't take much to get them over me right now. But check that out. Everybody, see you next week. Bye-bye.